Now let us discuss topic number 2.2, which is the process of audit. Is this a defined process as in material? No, this is a general process that we are discussing right now, and when we are gonna discuss chapter number 1, we would discuss the same in detail. Okay, right now this is a general process that we are gonna discuss, and there are 5 phases. The first phase being initial phase, planning phase, execution phase, reporting phase, and other points. What happens in initial phase? In the initial phase, an auditor was approached with an audit. This is what the material says, and in general, the auditor approaches the client, not the other way. The material says that the client approaches the auditor, and the auditor chooses whether he has to accept the audit or continue the audit, or to withdraw from the audit, or to decline the audit. These are the options that he has: accept or decline, continue or discontinue. He chooses a decision based on many factors. Some of the factors are the honesty and integrity of the management, and the financial statements, the transparency of the transactions, how the management is how much the management is transparent in showing those transactions to us, in preparing those financials, how are they answering to the questions, is there any is there any wrong remark on the company or on the management, was the background correct for both the company and the management, is the general things that you see. And based on that, if you decide to accept or to continue, you would agree into an agreement. The agreement in audit is called as terms of engagement. And here ends the first phase, and planning phase. Planning phase is the phase in which the auditor decides how he should conduct the audit. So, per se, think you are the auditor and you are given the audit of Reliance company. How would you deal? How would you audit? Everything seems to be important, and everything seems to be material, and every amount of the financial statement seems to be huge, and as per you, everything seems to be material. So how would you decide to do audit of Reliance Limited, wherein the financial statements itself runs over page 150 pages? How do you select a financial statement, and how do you deploy your resources, whether your time, your personal, and how do you maximize your output by having limited resources of time and manpower and cost? How do you get the best out of the audit? Assume yourself in that position. Generally, what would we say? We would be saying concentrate on the items that are huge as per the company. Take a take a average of the transaction amount, and whichever transaction was above the average, go for that. And we would be concentrating more on the quantum of the amount. And this is what has happened till now, and ये तो नहीं चलेगा अभी से. We have to do our audit based on risk. the industry has changed into risk-based audit. Risk-based audit is a by doing risk-based audit, you get the best output with limited resources. Your decision about the financial statements, your opinion about the financial statements is more reliable when you do risk-based audit rather than the audit that was based on quantum. What is risk-based audit? Risk-based audit is nothing but identify the complex transactions, identify the complex areas, and concentrate on that more. How do you identify complex areas? Complexity in an organization depends upon many things. Where there are calculations involved, huge amount of calculations. For suppose I have seen a discount calculation in a company where the discount formula runs over 80 line items in Excel. Understanding itself is very huge, and the person who is maintaining this thing, he has said that no one except me has touched it, no one except me, and my CFO has reviewed it till date. These are the complex things wherein the chances of mistakes are high, and if it is complex, no one touches, and the risk in that particular area might be high. So you try to find out the complex situations. Complexity involves in calculations, in valuation of inventory, and complexity with respect to judgments or estimates. Wherever there are judgments or estimates, the auditor and the management may never come to a single stand. It is not generally possible, and there would be lots and lots of discussions on that thing. And the client has to prove that that the judgments the judgment or estimate they are giving is true and fair, and the auditor should also be willing to accept it. And major discussions happens over here, and this is the primary reason we are able to give only opinion. Okay. And one more thing, where the management is in more pressure to achieve a certain target or something such as that, there would be chances of huge risk. सत्यम में ये हुआ था. During the recession, Satyam did not want to dilute the reputation of the company. It was extreme pressure. And they have chosen to do fraud. So complexity of calculations, judgment, pressure, valuations is the basic things that the auditor must focus. Has to deploy the best resources. And third one being execution phase. In execution phase, we do audit procedures and collect audit evidences. We have to collect as much audit evidence as possible, and we have to collect even more audit evidence with respect to risky areas. And these are the things that has saved the Satyam. PwC was the auditor and was not the primary auditor, and Love Lewis or something such some other firm was the signing partner of Satyam. And what has happened is, when the fraud arises, when the fraud came to limelight, the first question was raised against PwC by the government of India, and PwC has given all the documentation that that has saved and that is the one that have saved them from going going bankrupt, or say, or avoiding any violations or something as such. Audit documentation is extremely primary. Extremely means extremely primary. And reporting phase, here here based upon the audit evidence that you have collected, you will be giving a opinion on the financial statements, and the opinion that has to be given in a specified format. And ये सब इसमें मिलेगा तुमको in SA700 series. And some other points with respect to phase 5, other points, how the documentation has to be maintained by the company, how should it be procured safely, how should it be managed safely, and there are so many other points we would discuss in future. So these are the phases. Initial phase, whether to accept or decline the client, or continue or discontinue the client. Planning phase, execution phase, reporting phase, and other points.